You know
Yeah,
what I
for
mean?
sure.
What if
Well,
these are simulation theory? You know what I mean? Like,
you just said
yeah,
it. I gotta bring it up with you because you seem like you're the type of guy
yeah,
that
dude, I
is
love all
interested in
this.
it. Simulation theory.
Yeah,
Are you
like
into that?
I definitely like listening to it, and I think it's important to be aware of. I don't know, like I don't know enough to say if it is or isn't a thing.
Who do
Like
you listen to that
the
talks about it?
math makes sense. Ooh, there was a good what's his name? Alex Asmanov or something like that, one of those famous Russian scientists. And they do this yearly discussion. And 2 or 3 years ago, it was like Neil deGrasse Tyson on a panel with like a bunch of other like super distinguished scientists
Yeah.
where they were talking about it. There was the guy who actually wrote that first book. I've seen a couple of videos by him and just some YouTube stuff. But yeah, I don't think it's totally without like outside the realm of possibility. And
Yeah.
like related to the UFO phenomena, sometimes it's like these things are defying the laws of like gravity and physics.
Yeah.
Maybe it is like from base reality. You know what I
Right,
mean? And that's
yeah.
why they're not affected by things like
You
we
know
are.
Tom Campbell? Have you heard of him?
No. Is he
Look
on
into
Joe
you.
Rogan?
He hasn't been, but my God, he would be an interesting
Yeah.
guest. Tom Campbell is a guy that dives the deepest that I've ever seen anyone dive into simulation theory.
Yeah.
He actually has 2 books that he wrote called, or 3 books maybe. The books are called My Big Toe, my theory of everything, and he just like considers himself a consciousness studier.
Yeah.
And he's a scientist, like a legit
And isn't it-
scientist.
consciousness is one of the things like we understand the least.
We don't understand anything really about consciousness.
And I think that kind of ties into the whole thing too. It's like, I feel like over the past 60 years or so, humans have kind of like, well, one, we've always kind of been cocky, but now like with science and stuff too, I feel like we think that we know it all. And
Yeah,
that's why
for
maybe
sure.
why some people dismiss UFOs so quickly.
Yeah, for
But I
sure.
think a lot of it is like being humble and like admitting like, you know what, we really don't know a lot.
Yeah, we don't. I'm with you there. I'm very, very. I try to be skeptical about everything. I'm definitely biased, like, but at least I'm very aware that I'm biased. You know, like I'm definitely biased. I would love for UFOs to exist. I would love that aliens have come down, abductions. But I'm very skeptical about it. Like I keep my mind as open as I can, but
Yeah.
consciousness is one of those subjects we
Yeah.
don't understand a lot about it.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It seems like the past like 10 years, it seems like there's a lot of stuff coming out that's somehow all threaded together, right?
Yeah,
Like
that's
there's
how
a lot
I feel.
of stuff.
That's how I
like-
feel about all of this. Like
Yeah.
we were talking even earlier, you said you had like a ancient civilizations guest on. You
Yeah,
said
Graham Hancock talked
big
about
Graham
him.
Hancock guy, and
Yeah.
I think it's all kind of related.
Yeah, for sure.
There's definitely common threads you see, like when you research psychedelics, UFOs. ancient
Well, what are your thoughts on the
civilizations.
ancient alien theory?
I don't think it's necessarily outside the realm of possibility, or the fact that maybe some religions are like cargo cults. Have you heard of that term?
No cargo cult?
Cargo cult is basically in World War II, like in the Pacific, there were these like Bronze Age tribes that were like on uncontacted islands in like New Guinea and stuff like that, and they would see planes flying over and like dropping off supplies and stuff to troops, and they took that as them being gods because they were displaying technology that like
Oh, I see.
you know what
I
I mean,
see.
was totally outside their realm of possibility.
Damn.
And so they ended up like they would make like landing strips and stuff like that, not knowing what a landing strip is or whatever,
But just
to like get the gods to come. So
I have not heard of that.
oh
My God.
oh no yeah, you should
That
look
is
into that.
interesting.
Yeah,
I should
totally.
look into that.
But
Man.
so I think there's maybe a good chance that that's the case. Or you know what? I'm even open sometimes. Sometimes I read about this and I'm like, oh, maybe this religion actually is right, and this is what we're seeing. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think it's just at this stage, like acknowledging it, yes, but then looking forward to like step 2. It's just kind of like getting as much information as you can from like as many sources as you can, and
Yeah.
trying to piece together some sort of narrative.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think that maybe the ancient alien thing is real because, like I said earlier, like I don't think they just got here all of a sudden.
Yeah.
With the technology they have, it's not like they just developed the technology on their planet in 2001.
Yeah.
And now they
You
found
get
this.
into Graham Hancock, right? You've like listened to a lot of
Not
his stuff.
yet, but oh, like listening to him,
Yeah,
yeah. Eventually, I want to make videos about like some of those ancient civilization stuff because it is fascinating. Like you see like clear digressions in building technology, and you see stones being moved, like giant stones being moved like hundreds of miles.
I think it's, I mean, man, my theory or what I'm leaning toward with all of that stuff, the Graham Hancock stuff, the ancient civilization stuff isn't like aliens. I kind of have I've stepped away from the ancient alien theory with it, but I have more and more been leaning toward that humans have been around a hell of a lot longer.
Yeah, I super agree with that, and that there's been cycles of it.
Yeah, there's been cycle. I mean, to me, it just makes sense. Like, it just really makes sense that that's very possible that humans have been around for a lot longer, and we've advanced to points that we just would never even consider in mainstream history.
There's stuff that like
science.
we couldn't have built until like probably like the 50s.
Yeah.
With like our hydraulic power and stuff like that we had seen, and that had been like old.
Yeah. And did you watch the Magical Egypt documentary that Joe Rogan talks about all the time?
Oh, no. Is that Graham Hancock's like official documentary?
It's not Graham Hancock's. It's John Anthony West. Have you heard of John Anthony West?
Oh, that sounds familiar.
John Anthony West has been on Joe Rogan, and he is like...
Oh, is that his like kind of big friend?
He's no. He actually died not too long ago.
Oh, I'm thinking Randall Carlson.
Yeah, you're thinking of Randall Carlson. John Anthony West is the guy that like is the premier guy on ancient Egypt. Like the studies that he did, he went into super deep.
Yeah, there's
like,
some weird stuff
so
about
much
ancient
stuff.
Egypt. What is it? Those pillars and like the tomb thing?
Yeah, there's all kinds of
lifted
crazy
super
shit.
high, and they're like tons, like 30 tons.
Yeah, 30, like insane stuff. Just that in and of itself, the insane maneuvering skills. Like, how do you lift this stuff the way that they lifted it? How do you line it up so perfectly? But then even more interesting to me, you should watch this documentary. You would probably really love it. Is the fact that the pyramids were built, not the pyramids, but some chamber. I can't remember the king's chamber. I don't remember if it was in a pyramid or a temple or something, but it was built almost as if they understood sound way better than we understand. Like they understood sound waves and the different frequencies of sound, because they built it with like no corners, that it was built with everything seamed together. Like you would think, well, why weren't the corners of these things just stacked up with bricks like normal? But they built it where it was all curved and interlocked like this. And like if you sing in it, even now, it's like, you know, super degraded and there isn't even a ceiling. But when you sing like certain notes, I think it echoes and resonates. And then John Anthony West was saying that like in the King's Chamber, the whole fucking thing vibrates. And then there's the whole theory that they move stuff with sound, right?
Yeah,
they
I've
use
heard
sound
that theory.
waves to move it all. It's like, to me, it's interesting stuff.
Dude, it really is. And it's like another like thing I love to like fall back on in this whole ancient civilization thing is the whole like Göbekli Tepe.
Yeah, Göbekli Tepe.
Yeah, Göbekli Tepe. And it's like that wasn't discovered until I think the 90s.
Yeah, it was pretty recently discovered.
I think I might have been like alive before it was even discovered, which is crazy to think about. And it just kind of goes to show like how little we know.
Yeah.
Who's to say there's not another one that we're going to find in 5 years?
I think
that's
so.
Like older?
I mean, it's like what Graham Hancock says about the U.S. is like this unexplored. He thinks that it sounds like he thinks the U.S. is going to be, if archaeologists will just, you know, suck it up and really try to explore the U.S., that there could be a gold mine of ancient civilizations here. It's the perfect, you know, it has all the perfect. It's the perfect layout with the resources and the ocean surrounding it and all the stuff that you would need for something to thrive, you know. And that's the theory. It's unexplored, at least deeply, you know. So, yeah,